Hello, my name is Chris if you didn't already know, and welcome to my show SmegChris Review. Finally, I've caught up with all the films that I've watched, but before I review that movie, I want to talk about a television show that I've just finished watching. It's called Good Omens and it stars Michael Sheen and David Tennant. It's based on a novel written by Terry Pratchett and also Neil Gaiman, who went on to develop this television show. Basically, the story is about an angel and a demon who befriend each other and they try to prevent Armageddon. Now don't get me wrong, I did like it, I just didn't think it was worth being a television show. It'd have been better off as a movie. The story was dragged out way too long. Let me put it this way, without giving too many spoilers away. The last episode, where Armageddon is happening, all of that gets resolved in the first 10-15 minutes, and the rest of the episode, 40-45 minutes long, is the aftermath. What? Although I have to say a part of that aftermath was really good. I kind of guessed what was happening, but I enjoyed it anyway. But it was the lead up to it and all these characters being thrown in, and I was just like, oh, come on, just get to the point. But don't get me wrong, there are some great, fantastic characters. Michael Sheen as Aziraphale, I think that's how you say his name. He was brilliant. And of course, as always, David Tennant was excellent. You got John Hamm and Jack Whitehall in there. And there are so many others as well. But to be honest, it did feel like there were far too many characters put in there. I will say this, it is worth watching at least once, mainly for the characters, but the story, it was just way too long. And I know it's available on DVD, but I won't be getting it. And now onto my movie review of Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of one Harley Quinn. Wow, I actually managed to say it. Although technically they have changed the title now to, I think, Harley Quinn Birds of Prey, or is it Birds of Prey Harley Quinn? Well, whatever. Now I'm just going to point out, this is a spoiler, so if you don't want any spoilers, you better stop watching. But the fact that it's called Birds of Prey has baffled me because they don't call themselves the Birds of Prey until at the very end. And also, this is a Harley Quinn movie, so why not just call it Harley Quinn? Sure, the Birds of Prey characters do eventually show up and they all get together and there's a great big battle, which by the way I enjoyed. But I think this would have worked better if it was just a Harley Quinn movie. Just Harley Quinn. It kind of reminds me of Suicide Squad, where they added the Joker for absolutely no reason whatsoever. And that's what it feels like with this one, that they've thrown the Birds of Prey in for good measure and called it that. Like I say, it should have just been a Harley Quinn movie. Maybe introduce Huntress and Black Canary and a few of the others at some point. And then maybe they could have gone on to having their own movie anyway. Anyway, I digress. Or more to the point, I'm going on way too much about that. As a whole, the film sort of works, but not entirely. We've got Ewan McGregor playing the villain, and he was a little over the top, but not too much. I actually enjoyed his bad guy, although he did use the F word way too much. We also get to meet the Birds of Prey, like Huntress, played by Mary Elizabeth Winstead. She's fantastic in that role. Then there was Journey Smollett-Bell, who I've never really heard of, but she was brilliant as Black Canary. I'm not a big fan of Rosie Perez, but she did pretty well as Renee Montoya. But because it's her film, Margot Robbie stole the whole film as Harley Quinn. So we follow her as she narrates the story, telling us how she's broke up with Joker, and how she declares that is absolutely amazing. She just sends a lorry, packed with gas, which just so happens to be sat there in front of her, into Ace Chemicals and blows it all to heck. Blows it all to heck? I meant to say blows it up, but you get the picture. And that's where things get a little confusing, because as she's narrating the story, she's not actually doing it in the correct order, so it's going back and forth, and it does get quite annoying. But don't worry, that only lasts for so long, and then eventually we start seeing the big picture and it makes sense. I do like how some of the Birds of Prey characters, their stories tie in with other stories, and eventually it all becomes one story. I have to say though that the best thing about this film is the fight sequences. The fight choreography was phenomenal. I'm not kidding, every fight sequence was fantastic. In fact, you could say fantabulous. However, some of the low points would be the moments between the battles where it's just quiet and they're just talking and not much is really happening. Heck, we're not even getting much character development at them points. I'll tell you another good point about the movie. The soundtrack, the music that they chose was brilliant. Unfortunately, I've never heard of the director Kathy Ann, but there was some great direction on this film. It's just a shame that the story isn't all that great, which I'm not going to go into because it's quite convoluted. In the end, I give Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of one Harley Quinn a... Wow, I actually managed to say it again. At least I think I did. And there you go, that's my review of the movie. And it's also the end of this video. All that's left for me to say now is thank you for watching and subscribing if you have, and liking this video if you did. Until the next time, peace out. Wonder how many times it took me to say the title. Now onto my movie review of Birds of Prey and And now onto my movie review of Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation. And now onto my movie review of Birds of Prey and Now onto my movie review of Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous And now onto my movie review of can't you say Birds of Prey? And now onto my movie review of Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of one Harley Quinn. Wow, I actually managed to say it. Meh.